Welcome everyone to the Nerds and Woods podcast, episode 1.
All right. So now that we have terrible intros out of the way, I'm Potion Shop. How are you guys?
Yo, what?
Introduce yourselves one by one. Give us a shout out. What you guys do? You guys have YouTube, Twitters, Twitches. I think you have a Twitch channel. Yeah.
All right, so let me try this for you, okay, Potion?
All right.
You told us you listen to all these podcasts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerds and Words podcast. This is episode 1. My name is Tim Allen 1337. I am joined with Potion Shop, Moreland TV, and Joe Fails. Joe Never Fails on Twitch.tv. Today we've got some topics that we're going to discuss. This is how Potion Shop runs us through the conversation and directs it. So I'm going to pass it back to our host, Potion Shop, to guide us through this a little bit.
All right, guys. So this is the first podcast, so I expect it to be a little scuffed. The basic thing is we want to jump into the patch notes and discuss those. And the basic structure will be major drama topics, special guest, stuff like that, intro patch, meat and potatoes, other stuff, Q&A. So we're going to be changing the structure a little bit as we go along, so bear with us. If you guys have any ideas, you can always hit us up in our DMs on Discord. We each have our own Discord channels, so please give us a shout out if you have any questions.
Do not
advice.
DM me with ideas about the podcast, thank you.
Yeah, especially DM Moreland. He's actually the guy who wants all the Q&A. We're running it all through him, so he really he does a really good job of ignoring all of it, and that's exactly what we want. So.
Yeah, basically, if you have any questions, Google it first, and if you can't immediately find it, then jump into one of our Twitch chats. We'll ignore you, and then if you really need the answer, beg for it. No, just kidding.
So yeah, it's been a pleasure that you guys have we've all come together for a podcast, and I think it's been a big joy, and I think that hopefully it's going to be something good for the community and for ourselves. And I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for allowing me to be here, and thanks for showing up.
I'm hyped to be a part of it as well. I know this is something that me and Tim have been talking about in our Monday days off, and for quite some time over the last month and a half. I just moved down here to Florida, and getting some time to pick the brain of another content creator, and specifically a BDO content creator, is always an absolute fucking pleasure. So to get this idea out there, I'm really hyped. I'm excited for it. Can we do like full intros real quick? And this, so when people come back to episode 1, it'll be like, who the hell are these fucking guys talking? You know what I mean? Why should I be listening?
Yeah.
Like, I think, again, for everybody who's listening, this is our first cast, and we haven't had a lot of free time, as all of us are, full-time content creators. It's been a little bit wild to get all the ideas down. We're learning as we go. So this is definitely going to be like, let's do one episode, get some feedback, and then work the kinks out as we continue to progress. So you want to go from top to bottom, alphabetical order? Who's got the most hair goes first? I'm last. Yeah,
I think I have the most hair right now. I have like a ponytail going on, bro.
Dude, I'd pay to see a man bun, dude. I'd pay to see it.
I'm trying.
Joe, since you're halfway done with
let me go through. So for everybody who's listening, for anybody who's tuning in right now, what's up? This is episode 1, Nerds and Words. This is basically a podcast with nerds talking about things with words. See how that works? It's simple. All of us came together from the BDO directory. Black Desert Online is I'd say the world's most popular open world PvP sandbox, massively multiplayer online RPG. For me, to do a brief introduction, my real name is Joe Fails. That's my real name. And it's my real fucking name. I have run a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Joe Never Fails that focuses on helping the average Joe never fail, both inside and outside of gaming, right? We play MMOs. Started playing Final Fantasy 14, some background in Elder Scrolls Online, Star Wars The Old Republic. Been streaming on Twitch for 5 years as a partner, and play BDO full time. And interested in the future of where MMOs are going to go, and making more content specifically right now for the BDO community. I think that's good. That's it for me. Who's up?
So I'm Potion Shop. Been streaming on Twitch, make a few YouTube guides. Probably best well known for either my Manos guide, Winning Mysteries Summer, or my leveling guide to 61. And you can find me on Twitch at Potion Shop TV.
Definitely Mysteries of Summer, dude. That's like
Oh yeah.
epic. It's so cool. Does anybody not know who's watching live right now? Does anybody not know Mysteries of Summer? Give them some background.
Did you ever get
dude.
your reward for that?
It took me 3 or 4 months to get my PC, and I emailed them back and forth, and they said, "Yeah, what's your address again?" After like 3 months, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to send that to you."
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
I do have the
I've been there.
PC, and it's actually my stream PC now. Funny enough, I won it for playing BDO, but because I couldn't actually play BDO on it because of software that came pre-installed on the PC, so I couldn't play the PC. I couldn't play Black Desert on the PC. I won for playing Black Desert.
Is that
Actually,
ironic?
yeah, it's just
It
super
was
ironic.
Alienware though, yeah.
Yeah, it was Alienware. It's a really nice
Okay.
PC. It's worked out nicely for now.
Yeah, you
Alienware,
give some.
man, you must get a lot of girls with that.
They like the neon. I think that's what gets them.
Dude, I think the to give some context, Mysteries of Summer was a global launch between North America and Korea, all regions that were live in BDO, and it was this quest that everybody in the game was trying to figure out at once, and Potion won it. He was the first guy in the entire world to do it, and they gave him a computer for it. So that's pretty lit. That's pretty cool.
That's it for me. So Moreland, Tim, take it away.
My name is Moreland. My real name is Tim Allen, and I don't know what I'm known for in this game. I made some guides in 2017. People still ask me about them. Sometimes I get lucky with enhancing, and I think that's pretty much my legacy.
You're the founder of the BDO directory. That's who you
You're
are.
OG,
That's true.
Moreland.
Pretty much the entire Twitch video directory is because of me. So you're all welcome.
Thank you, Moreland.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
It's my pleasure.
So my name is Tim Allen. No, that's not my real name. I'm really just excited to be here because for some reason I keep getting banned in my podcast from podcasts, and they keep getting stolen from me. So it's really cool to have one that Norelio can't.
Here we
take.
fucking go, dude. Already. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We didn't even last.
No, but seriously, I'm excited to be here and work with people I consider friends. And so this should be fun and interesting. I've been streaming for a little over 2 years. I'm sorry, almost 3 years. And I've been the NA Siege podcast host for 2 years, which I've had an interesting relationship with. I don't know what else to say besides, I guess I've run a Siege guild for about 2 years. I don't know if you've heard of Aftershock, but we're back in Cozy and Serindia. I think all 4 of us are in Aftershock, aren't we? So I guess you have
Interesting.
That's just a
After
coincidence. It means nothing. All right, just a coincidence.
So that's what I really enjoy out of BDO is I like the challenge of leading a guild, the ups and downs of it, and streaming that process as much as I can without compromising the guild has been one of the most rewarding things I've done in recent time. So excited to be here and all that good stuff.
All right. So
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
what's the big takeaway? What have you guys been doing in BDO this week? What's the before we jump into the patch notes? What's been the biggest thing that's been what you've been working on?
Oh, can I go?
Yeah.
Yes,
I made
please.
2 Tep Black Stars yesterday.
What?
Wow.
I heard about that, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
What stacks?
Like 130 and 110.
Must be nice, dude. Must be.
It is. It's very
Yeah.
nice. I had
Wow.
16 mil in the bank, and now I have like 30 something. So
Wow.
it's pretty nice.
16 mil to 30 billion.
Right, correct. Yeah, I forgot
Ka-ching.
that letter.
Billions. Wow.
Billions.
Thank you. I needed that.
You should go buy yourself something
I hit-
nice.
I hit Penn Muskins on Monday morning. I was I was drinking.
Wait, are you full pen
Saturday
armor now?
night. I'm full pen armor now. So
Oh,
I've been,
congrats.
Broke 346. He broke
been
346.
grinding that. Yeah, can I tell my story, Joe? Is that okay? Jesus.
Nope. Can't do it.
So I've been grinding my ass off on my Guardian to get money for Caphras, and so I'm I think 349 DP Nuver now. C4 on 2 armor pieces, C9 on Red Nose, and then C11 on Heave. So I'm enjoying the DP grind and excited to PvP on the Witch again this week or tonight.
Hell yeah. A gardener took a shovel to my internet cable yesterday or 2 days ago. That's all. That's the most exciting thing that's happened in my week.
I did it. I was tired of you streaming, and I just cut that shit off.
You son of a.
The competition's getting fierce on Twitch these days, you know.
Dude, wild, man. You never know. It's lurking around the next corner.
So for me, I just barely got things together. Like I basically am in a brand new place. I literally, before I turned on my stream today, I plugged in my microphone 5 minutes before the stream, like literally 5 minutes before. So I'm just happy that everything is on and seems to be working properly. So that's the best I can hope for right now. I also completely thought that this life skilling thing was going to get me to 2000 mastery, but then it said gathering set effect. So I was like really let down by that.
Oh yeah.
But we can get into that later.
I hit Guru 3rd at cooking. I forgot about that. I cooked for like 8 hours the other day and pushed myself to Guru 30.
I bet that was
Congrats, dude. I completely ignored that notification popping up on the top of my screen. I consciously ignored it, dude. I was just like, oh, nice. I didn't say a word.
Content stealing bitch.
It's
pretty good, actually. Guru 30, wow.
It's pretty solid, dude. I didn't know you life skilled that much until like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I didn't know he could do that.
I always have a cooking emblem above my head. I normally have around like 4th or 5th on the server or whatever, but yeah, I life skill. I like cutting meat. It's relaxing.
Oh yeah.
Now what do we do, Potion?
I think it's something about patch notes. So let's jump into it. What was the big takeaway that you guys want to talk about on the patch notes?
Well, there's a ton of
the events are awful.
What's awful about the events?
Whoa.
I think the life EXP on the event,
but these are some of the worst events I've ever seen.
What?
I'm actually insulted that they think it's okay to put events this bad into the game. So let's start with the Patrigio event. Wow, I can now spend 50 energy to pay max price to Patrigio for Caphra stones. That's so awesome. I can't wait to spend all my energy to pay more than the market value for an item that I need very badly.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Anyone else same? Okay. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
I thought I didn't even know it was an event. I thought it was just a renewal. I thought they were adding it into the game. I didn't know it was an event.
We were promised a Night Vendor rework like a year ago. It never happened.
While ago.
We finally get a Night Vendor event, and it's just a copy and paste of a KR event that's not relevant at all in our region. So that feels a little lazy to me. Yeah.
Is it really an event though? I think where does it? I think this is permanent.
It's a Patrigio shop renewal, May 13th to May 20th.
Oh wow!
Where it says new events, that's where we know it's an event.
It's under the events section. Yeah.
Yo, my bad, dude. It's okay. I can't read. Okay.
I feel you there. I feel you. All right.
So I completely misread that. Yeah.
Wow. The thing that got me about the life skilling one in particular was you can turn your loot scroll into a life skill loot scroll. It gives you 100 mastery, but that equates to about 8 million an hour, where a loot scroll is worth like at least 50 million an hour. And if you're a low end player, maybe 25 million an hour. Like it's like, why would you ever change it over? Unless you just have like thousands of them or hundreds of them or something.
Something for people who never ever grind, I guess.
Yeah. I think the hot take is right now there's a lot of new players playing this game, and instead of having them, go through the process of finding a guide and X blah 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 blah, finding a Discord, which a lot of people are not doing. It's allowing people to get X intro. I think with a shy, I'm what am I 750 on my gatherer if I have the clothes and the accessories and the tool. So if I wanted to pick one particular thing, it would at least get my foot in the door to break that first point over spending a couple 100 million. So they can at least start getting EXP during this event, make some money, and then maybe use that to buy gatherer's clothes to test out whether they want to be a gatherer at all or a life skiller at all. So I think for end game, this is completely irrelevant. But this has got to be something good for somebody who's never life skilled at all before.
Yeah,
that was my first opinion.
I do think it's good for new players. I'm kind of like, I guess my perspective is obviously jaded because I'm more on the veteran side, but it does make sense for new players. I do think it's a good foot in the door. You don't have to worry about getting a tool. You get a free tool. You get free clothes, right?
It's like Oasis gear for life skillers, which is fun. I'm not super upset about that event. It's the Night Vendor event
yeah.
and this silly this map piece and potion piece event also rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree with the potion piece thing. Or pardon me, the map piece and everything else. You've got Achman and you've got Histria in Gyfenrasia. Like, you're talking about putting the two coolest treasure pieces for the compass, the most, in my personal opinion, the most relevant treasure pieces in the most irrelevant endgame grind spot possible.
But it doesn't bother me that the spots that they put it in. What bothers me is that they only chose very specific mobs to drop certain pieces. And so it's actually worse to grind the event than it is to just grind the regular spots. Like the Rhonaros piece only drops from the big crab in Upper Sakraya. There's like 3 or 4 of those things in an Upper Sakraya rotation.
Wow.
Compared to, 30 guardian / catchers in a Rhonaros rotation. Like, it's preposterous. No one would ever grind that. It's actually 10 times worse. I don't see the purpose of the event. It's literally just there to trap like players into making bad decisions and wasting their time. It's almost like sadistic.
Interesting.
I
Do you
feel
think that's a pattern though?
I feel like it's just they just took the same number, copy pasted it, and then just didn't count because they're not playtesting it. They're just looking at numbers on a piece of paper, right? So I mean, it makes sense if you just think they're copy pasting it, but it's like I kind of wish they would just go in and play test it, just 1 hour play test, or like looking at the numbers and comparing, like, like how many monsters can you kill or something like that would greatly improve the appeal, right, and the quality of the game.
I think you're right. I think that there's been, and I'm sure Merlin has a big opinion about this, I think there is a distinct lack of playtesting. I think that's an interesting point to keep like in the back of your head when we go through patch notes and events and stuff.
Yeah.
That it's hard to play test this game in the ways that they change it, right? Like Siege and all that kind of stuff. Because it's like, to be in a Siege guild, you have to be in a Siege guild. You can watch Siege, but until you're in Siege, it's very difficult, or helping organize a Siege force. It's very difficult to figure that out without playtesting it. And how is playtesting that even, feasible?
Yeah, I guess for larger scale things, it makes it more difficult, right? I guess that's reasonable. I guess you'd have to go off player-based, thoughts on that, right? You can't really do internal tests because you can't get 200 people in-house testing, right?
It would seem like that would be a good idea, right?
Yeah. Well, on KR they do have a server that if you own the regions in KR, there's a special server you can go to, and you can go and test things on there. It's only for people who have who own a region guild in Korea, though. You'll have to ask WTF Blue sometime if that's still a thing or if they removed it or anything. But that was a thing for a while where region guilds could go and test things for the developers, like new tests. Like that's when we found out the Lingering Super Armor and Warrior was removed first, because it was the Korean players going to that special server and testing it. I think since then, they released Global Lab, and that was probably the replacement for that. But it's something that I'd like to ask what WTF Blue about, right?
Well,
See if that's
Siege
still
is one thing. Yeah, Siege is one thing, and testing like that type of stuff in PvP is one thing. But to do what Moreland just talked about
doesn't require,
yeah, like it's looking at the exact amount of mobs. Hey, let me make it drop from this one. There's 12 of them over here, and there's 3 on this. Like that's just ignorant. That's just like simply ignorant. Where, hey guys, let's throw this together. Let's drop them from this mob, whatever. It's irrelevant. It just doesn't make any sense at all. It's just not even knowing the game. That's not knowing one piece of content within the game. That's not counting right.
It's particularly like insidious because not only is it bad design, but it's bad design in a way that traps players into making poor decisions. It's kind of like how hidden stats work in this game. Like the stats are so convoluted, and this has gotten better over time. But in the beginning of the game, stats were so confusing. They would actually bait you into using bad items, like the whole Heave versus Gaia thing. The stats would straight up lie to you about what they actually did, and it would just cause you to make bad decisions. And I feel like the same thing is happening with this potion event. Like there's plenty of people who aren't going to be, following the spreadsheets as far as like what's dropping the piece and what isn't. They're not going to know this. Most people are not going to realize. They're going to go out there and grind the event and have no idea that they just wasted 2 or 3 weeks of their life on something that was 10 times less efficient.
Well, that's a deterrent from creating more content, though. If I just make you play my current game longer, why would I have to give you more content? That's like the pattern of this game, period.
I mean, if that's really the mindset, though, that's just
don't you think that's
way
what?
there?
Yeah,
I don't think that's their mindset. No, I think that they just don't think it through, dude. I think they design the game in a very like sort of armchair intuitive way rather than using like logic or actually thinking things through. They get an idea about something that would be interesting and they just kind of run with it, right? Like they don't necessarily stop to like think about what the actual design is. I think that's why we get so many features in this game that never actually get implemented, because one of the devs is like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had pottery? Wouldn't it be cool if we had climbing? Wouldn't it be cool if we had like dancing? Like you could list 100 other things that they've literally officially announced that have not made it into the game, that have ended up getting canceled or just ghosted. And it's because like they just kind of do everything based off of emotion rather than like, and you want some of that in the game, right? You don't want it to be like overly designed where every class is identical to every other class and it's perfectly balanced. Like there's definitely extremes in both directions, but I feel like this game suffers from kind of like a lack of purposeful design and too much design by feeling.
Well, I think it's all. Go ahead.
I think some of the reason they did this is there's only certain spots that are relevant to grinding, right? And those certain spots keep changing as the game evolves, right? Like nobody's really out there doing mansions for any reason, or unless it's ironic. So then they're making these different spots kind of relevant. And so where it would not make sense for high-end competitive players like at least three of us, it may be refreshing for a casual player to now have a reason to go to this, because it's an MMO. It's supposed to be about immersion and going across the world and a little bit of Calpheon 2 RP kind of thing. And so for a casual player, it may be entertaining for them to have this thing to work towards, because they don't care about gear. They don't care about PvP. They just want to look pretty, dye their shit gold, and then grind something that seems interesting to them. And so I think this is scratching a lot of itches. I think what they do here is scratching a lot of itches.
I love the idea of giving people reasons to go to grind places that they wouldn't normally go to. My argument is that this event doesn't do that. It baits you into going somewhere because you think that there's an incentive, but you're actually just being sort of tricked by an event that's really like detrimental to you actually getting the item that you're going for.
I think that, okay, so if I'm going to take that thought process and say they're not conscious, let's say, like, take it at face value, they don't know what they're doing. They're just willy-nilly creating content in the game for us, right? They have no idea what they're doing, what the byproduct of adding in like horizontal activity outside of like the end game, let me pursue pen C20 hard cap armor, right? It's just an accident. They're just making whatever the hell they think. There's some guys throwing out an idea. I disagree with that. I think that they do know what they're doing. I think that they're trying to find ways to spend the least amount of money to get people to play their game longer and grind to avoid hitting the end cap of inevitably stopping playing BDO. And I think they're really conscious of that shit, dude. I think they have a very good eye on exactly where the KR community is, exactly where NA is, exactly where EU is. And we're only going to see X new stuff, X new gear, X new game-breaking thing, X new great content when enough people get to the place where they're either going to stop playing the game or not continue unless they have actually something new in the game. That's what I think, dude. I don't think that they're so ignorant to the game that they're playing, ignorant to the content, their own content creation. I could not imagine them actually not seeing that or not knowing that. It might be the case, but I just
can't think that people are that close to maxing out though. I mean, we probably have
I think there are multiple people in North America
in the entire game who are that maxed. Like out of tens of thousands that are playing.
Well, do you think
there are
people that are hard cap?
Small handful of people.
There are people that are hard cap right now. They have done it. They have made it to the max, and they don't like outside of griefing other players, RBF, and fighting with their team. They're not grinding. What are they going for? What are they doing?
I do think it's going to be a problem in the future. I think right now the number of people experiencing that problem is not significant enough portion of the population for the developers to be concerned. I do think that in a year from now, maybe that would be a big concern, because I think a lot of people in high-end guilds would be full pin in like a year from now, right? Especially if the marketplace is the way it is.
That's the nature of the game for the next year. That's actual competition.
I think it's interesting though. I do think it's interesting. Like I think that overall, I think these events are probably not well thought out. I think that when it comes to new game content, like new boss armor stuff, I think that's the thing to put the brain power in. Like, hey, how can we make people grind another 1,000 hours, right? I think these events are just poorly done because you can just look at the math on them, and it's like anybody with a brain would be like, yeah, the math is just like doesn't add up. Like if you had a, if you did any math at all, it would have been, it would have made sense. Let's what else in the patch notes what interested you guys?
50% life skill EXP, man. I'm hyped for that. Air horns.
So
that's a good event. I like that event.
It's for noobs, dude. It's for new players.
What?
I would think it's good. The only thing I think is bad about it is bartering. I think trading is arguable, but bartering makes no sense. Why it doesn't? It's not why it's not included.
I totally
right?
agree with that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think it's really good. It gives life skilling a reason to go out and do it. You can pile into cooking, gathering, or hunting, because hunting is going to be good in Ordolito, from what I hear. That's the rumor. So, like, it gives you lots of things to work on in the game that you otherwise would probably be like, do I really? But now you can be motivated for 20 days and have some fun. I think it's a really good event.
I hunted for the first time. Yeah, because of this event.
Yeah.
You guys are actually hyped for the life skilling right now, Moreland and Tim. You guys are both hyped up for the 50% EXP.
Yeah, I went from Guru 26 to Guru 30 in like one day. I would call that hyped. I went from beginner 0 to artisan 2 hunting in the same day.
I'm saying, yeah, but you've been cooking. What are you trying to new? Are you trying new life skills? Are you genuinely interested in trying something else that you might like, or are you just
so 2 sentences
ago?
I said I went from beginning 0, have never tried hunted, and because of this event, I tried hunting, and I didn't care for it, but I tried it because of the EXP. It motivated me to do that. Keep up, kid.
Yeah,
Listen,
I think that's good.
I was. If you listened to what I said 2 sentences ago, I asked Moreland and you, bruv.
Yes.
There are new life skills for me, dude. I've done everything in this game.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you life skill wise with this shit then?
It's extra XP while I'm AFK processing and playing Last Oasis.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's what I'm trying to figure out, dude. So new players and pursuing different life skills you've never done before, both benefits.
Now, I think another big change that I think a lot of people, it's really hard to measure the impact of this, is that they did a lot of awakening buffs this week. What are you guys thinking about these awakening buffs? Like a sorceress awakening is actually starting to be a little tempting for me personally, again, for PvE. What do you guys think about it?
Right?
Yeah, it's all PvE. So it's
all.
Yeah,
mostly. There was a couple
a lot of
skills
PvE,
that got
but
changed, just like reduce cooldowns in general, like Ranger got a couple, but most of it was just straight PvE damage. And
I think what one of the best parts of the patch notes came through Warrior, changing the location of absolute shield counter and Furious Blow icons.
Oh, dude, my skill tree, it looks completely better now. It's just absolutely changed my life.
It's good to know. Good to know.
Tamer got a bunch of love. It seems like they got PvE and PvP. They got like range increases and stuff. That's pretty big.
Yeah, they need it.
I think
for me,
for PvE, Tamer needed a huge. I think PvP, that's 1v1's like, oh, they're so hard to fight, and I'm not in good
Tamer
at PvP.
buffs scare me, dude.
Yeah,
they actually scare me. Yeah, Tamer's wild class.
I think for PvE it makes sense though by a lot, because they're by far the weakest PvE class, right? I mean, Ninja Awakening is comparable, and that says a lot.
Yep. Ninja Awakening, Striker Awakening, Tamer Awakening, all needed love, major love. PvE.
So I'm in this weird spot where I really don't like Succession for Witch Wizard. Wizard's probably fine, but I don't like the idea, especially being at least a half shot caller, of not having an S block or an active block. And so I really love the Witch Awakening kit, and we don't have an easy way to swap back and forth between Succession and Awakening. And so getting a little extra damage on the Witch PvE is I haven't tested it yet because I'm having fun playing Guardian as a PvE grind alt. Mm-hmm. But it would be nice to, every time I stream, yo, idiot, why aren't you using Succession? And it's like, well, I'm streaming. So like the boomer APM thing while I'm interacting with chat is actually really nice. I've tried it off stream a couple times and I have a headache after like 45 minutes. How am I supposed to grind for 10 hours with my fingers falling off? So having that kind of low, pain. I'm fine losing a little bit of trash per hour to have lower APM so I can be a better streamer and stuff. And having that be a viable option is pretty nice without having to go to Guardian, even though I'm having fun with that for now. It's not a long-term solution for me.
You gotta do what feels good, man. The game is hundreds of hours of grinding. So I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to increase your quality of life grinding. I felt the same way with Striker. Like I wanted to play Striker large scale, and it was definitely a huge trash hit from Mystic, but it just seems like they are paying attention to at least allowing players to not have to make such a serious commitment to whatever class they want to play for the sake of PvP as well, by boosting up the succession and boosting up the awakening income for a lot of classes. So it's not just like, yo, I have to play succession. I'm forced into this, forced into buying a Old Moon book, forced into going back to town every time I flop back between, RBF and blah, blah, blah. Now I can comfortably stay in awakening and open world / and large scale. And that's a big community quality of life improvement. So that's a nice change for the game.
Absolutely. I feel like it always should be about a choice at the end of the day, right? You shouldn't feel like you're forced to play something because it's that much better, or you can't play something because it's that much worse, right? At least in PvE.
Design?
Yeah, like
that's what they said at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want one to be stronger than the other, but obviously in practice it's pretty haywire.
Yeah. We made all the classes 20% too strong. All right, Pete, just buff the awakenings by 20%.
All these classes were so different when they first came out with Succession. Like, it's wild. Yeah, this was our intention. That was not at all what happened. And then we've been taking us 4 months to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's this game though. That's BDO.
I love BDO.
I love BDO.
Ah,
Lon
there
got
it
some
is.
love. Chat's saying Lon got a lot of love. Awakening Lon.
I think Awakening Lon's got to be close to top tier grinder now. I mean, they were already good before this, and they got some solid 15% buffs across the board.
I think open world 1v1 PvP has to be best class.
I'm kind of a adrenaline junkie, and I wish I was playing Lon to ride that roller coaster that they've been on for the past couple months.
Dude, for real.
Like
30% nerf, 36% buff. Like
huge
you
numbers.
lose 4 super armors. See a nerd wow, they've been all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Ninja got a lot of changes too. A lot of things were increased. I don't envy Ninja's grinding. I don't envy that at all. Kunoichi got a little bit.
Ninja's
Almost
needed
everything on Striker across the board went up. I don't envy Striker's grinding ever. I lived that
Striker
hell for a year and a
Awakening?
half.
so bad.
Or Striker Succession right now is actually probably top 10, easily top 10.
Big Pog.
Yeah.
Big Pog. I
So-
didn't even understand that. I had no clue how good that shit was. I actually almost regretted regretted swapping from Striker to Guardian.
For grinding?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
grinding, it's
yeah.
pretty insane.
It's crazy.
I haven't been
it's
talking
wild,
about it a
dude.
whole lot because I feel like if they ever got a nerf, then all the strikers that did play would definitely quit then.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, they're definitely very, very strong right now. For Succession, that is.
Mhm.
Huh.
What was the other class in here? There was some other class that got huge something or other. Didn't you had like 50 changes in here?
Yeah, Ninja had a lot of.
They
but I think it's
added
just-
crit and stuff. They went in on Ninja.
Well,
So
Ninja
Guardian
PvE was terrible.
got a bunch of combo and animation changes. Has anyone played around with that? It sounds like the Succession might be a lot smoother now, so that's something that would affect both PvP and PvE.
Yeah, before it was
Well,
really weak.
I think that in general, when Guardian Succession came out, it was somewhat useless, and this is still adjusting, making the class way more accessible for other reasons. I still don't understand. Playing a Guardian is, in my opinion, large scale, easy grind. That's the top 2 reasons, right? So Guardian Succession, what does it bring? Right, a little bit more 1v1 viability.
Yeah,
And it did not even have that. It was when Guardian Succession first came out, it was barely any different than same speed, barely any different than Guardian Awakening. It's a huge useless addition. What is the point?
I heard
I
that
think
Succession
that,
is
yeah.
slower. Is that not true?
Well, they've been cleaning up and they've been increasing the animation speed of a lot of different abilities. So it's marginally more mobile in my personal opinion. And I haven't fooled around with it very often, but
Can you explain what they did, what the Guardian changes were, Joe?
so the Guardian changes to Succession, or the Guardian changes in general?
In general, it looks like they changed a lot. Was most of it
Yeah,
Succession?
Yeah, that's 2 pages of changes.
It's there's 2 or 3 abilities that were applied to everything. Most of it's Prime, and then you've got a little bit more distance and Fierce Disdain. I'm pulling it up right now in front of me. They fixed an issue with Beast Demolisher, reduced the cooldown for Black Blood Eruption from 15 to 9 seconds.
On Fierce Disdain? Have you?
Say again? Oh yeah, it's
yet?
longer.
How,
it's longer.
how much
Oh, yeah.
better is it? Significantly better?
It's 10 to 15% longer. It's not
The thing is,
crazy,
you
but
still
that's a
have
big
that
deal though.
goofy swing afterwards, right? Because
I know.
every time I see a
Yeah.
Guardian iframe,
Yeah.
I just wait a second because I know exactly what's going to happen next, and then
So
I grab the mini.
The distance is actually still really important because you can like sneak behind a corner in line of sight. That's the main place where I'm using Fierce Disdain as well. So like if I'm around the corner, I'm taking a big swing, shift LMB, and then I Fierce Disdain slide away. I'm protecting myself a lot more easily, which is when you're trying to escape, you got to use every single tool in the kit. So that little bit of extra movement is nice. It's not like a game break. You're not going to become a god just because Fierce Disdain moved, but that's part of the iframe. So more survivability on a class that, again, a lot of people complain about has a lot of survivability because of the damage and also because of because of Infernal flying away. So, like I'm obviously not going to say, we didn't need that, but I don't think that that's like the craziest thing in the world. I'm actually really interested to see what they're doing with the suck other changes, like the Prime Bold. Like I want to try out Succession. The more that they add, the more I see people trying Succession Guardian, the more interested I become in it, because I thought it was dog when Succession first came out. I thought it was an absolute waste. Honestly, the only reason why I would have ever tried Succession was because of the 100 DP on Shift Q, and I don't think that even making that decision makes a lot of sense for anything but like a very situational push. The super armor.
What's just so hard with the Awakening, right? Because like the Awakening is so like, well, it's really nice. We'll say it that way. Yeah. It's like why would you play anything else when you have the Cadillac? You're not going to drive anything else.
You're trading off the 4 strongest, largest AOE abilities that Guardian has for what I don't think is a relevant, utility kit. So
Cadillac.
How are the Raboms? They give you guys Raboms this week?
Yeah, so the Raboms are nice. The 56 and 57. There's a super armor on 56 and there's a heal on 57. So there's a 400 HP non-protected heal on 57. So if you're basically
what,
dude? What's wrong with Cadillacs, bro? What's wrong with the caddy?
I don't know who came up with that idea. I mean, I guess they'll use it. I'll take 400 HP.
Dude, I know. Like the 400 if you pop an E buff, you're getting a 500 HP heal from E. You're not necessarily going to use it that way, but if you need 1,000 extra HP, you E buff and you 57 Rabom. That's 1,000 HP heal, plus you're still protected for probably 8 more seconds in super armor. You can still run in. You can still run in and shift LMB with no animation. There's a lot of things you can do with that. Sneak behind. You can again use the extra distance from Fierce Disdain. Sneak around a corner, pop that Rabom, pop into your shift Q. You're right back in. You're only unprotected for about a second and a half, and if you use your positioning correctly, that heal gets you right back into battle. Yeah. I like that quality of life because that lets you, like, if you're talking about actual gameplay loop of engage, disengage Guardian correctly. If you're talking about RBF or even large scale, you're preparing, pre-buffing, watching your surroundings, diving in, dropping protected damage, and you're disengaging when you feel like you're about to die. You sneak behind a corner, you heal yourself up all the way, and then you go back in and do it again. And this gets you back into battle faster, which is, I think it's a nice change.
I think that a lot. I think that loop feels good.
Yeah. And also it's unprotected. So if you see somebody doing it, you just clap them. You CC them and then you're dead. So
has anyone seen the Shira bombs? What are they? Are they good? Do they create options? Like what do they do for the class?
Yeah.
I don't know what
the orb that follows you around dies really fast. So I don't know how useful that is.
Yeah.
But I haven't really seen it used that much.
And it didn't give us the music part of Shy yet, right?
I know.
Whoa! I totally forgot about that. Is that on Global Lab?
It's on Global and KR. It's out. It was on the roadmap that they gave us too. They said they're going to give us Shy music
roadmap.
Well, I mean, but at least they did everything on the last roadmap, but like one thing, right? So I figured they would do everything on this one, but one thing. But so far, they've done nothing on the new roadmap yet. So I don't know.
Toilet paper is more valuable than that fucking roadmap.
Yikes, you're not wrong.
I mean, toilet paper is pretty valuable right now.
Exactly. I'm being serious.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the Shy ones are. But yeah, they're supposed to do Shy music on the roadmap, and then they're supposed to do the Papu and Creole Island and Port Grana. And then Ordelito is supposed to be after that in the next quarter. So I don't know.
Wasn't it Q2 Odalita? Q2 or Q3?
It's a dartboard.
I think Q1 was the first stuff, and Q2 was Ortolito.
Yeah, so we're still a month. We still have a month and a half.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna be roughly on time for Ortolito. We'll see though. You never know with Prohlbus.
Congratulations.
The one thing Prohlbus is good at
Fingers
is
crossed.
being unpredictable all the time.
Yeah. Well, is that really unpredictable when they're always late?
Fair. All right, so what's the next thing on the patch notes? Let me scroll down.
Check your mail. You have a Garmoth bundle if you haven't opened it yet.
Ooh,
Nice
that's pretty good topic. Yeah, what like they gave that to everybody, right? I didn't go to Garmoth and I got one.
Everyone that was logged in at that time, an hour before, hour after, I think.
Imagine logging out.
Only time I log out is when the power goes out.
So I think the only thing I really have to say about Garmoth is that it's the worst world boss in any game ever for any reason. I hate the lag. The only thing that's good about it is that it's a nice flat open area that draws people in for open world PvP. But the actual encounter, the drop rate, all of that shit is awful.
What do you think about the rework for it?
Awful.
Do you think the rework did anything to help that?
I haven't seen the rework. I'm sorry.
So,
okay, yeah, they did
I
rework
heard
it.
it actually made the fight longer.
Yeah, I think that it's
Jesus.
longer but less jumping. He's like, I think he's like 30% more HP, but you get to actually fight him now.
How much fucking longer do you?
okay, listen. Hot take here. Hot take. Okay, so I thought that the reason why they added in those like mapped out time-based iframes was to like when the server-wide announcement goes off for people that Papegos that were out in the middle of nowhere, they could say, "Oh, damn, I'm about to miss Garmoth," and they still had time to stop what they were doing and make their way there.
Oh, right. Okay.
That I thought they were basically saying this is always going to take 10 minutes long or longer to give people a chance to come in. I didn't experience it that way. I thought it was pretty swift, like 7 to 8 minutes for this Garmoth.
So like I'm fine with like a 5 to 10 minute thing, right? But like you start getting into 15, 20 minutes, you got to be there on time to make sure you get all your hits in, and then you walk away with 3 Caphras and a piece of toilet paper, and and you wasted an hour and a half of your life doing it. It's just not fun, right? Like in the old days when you had hit Dimtree and you could swap channels, and you spent 15 minutes killing Dimtree, some PvP during it, after it, before it, and then you had 3 or 4 chances to get your Dimtree armor. That was fun. That was rewarding, right? This Garmoth thing is just the armchair, right?
You know what I miss? I miss the days when warriors had to perma iframe while taunting Mudster so that the rangers could DPS and take all our loot. That was sick, dude. I want to bring that back.
Mudster, man.
There's got to be
You
a
guys
happy
remember
medium.
the Mudster dance? He would go under the ground and everyone would panic. Oh, dude. Or beg, like
fun,
one-shotting you from across the screen. Yeah, I love that.
Honestly, some of my first early memories in BDO come from Mudster. Like fighting Mudster was really fun because I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die.
At the time, I thought that was a good change, but I kind of miss those days. I kind of do.
Yeah,
I was going to pop this question,
Steam players. These Zoomer-ass Steam players have no idea what we're talking about. They just want to show up, get their loot, and be nice and safe, right? They just want to be nice and safe. You guys should roll back to the fucking Mudster days of what the game was really.
They didn't have Gym
about.
Vipers back then. I don't want to go back now with Gym Vipers. But
back in my day, we fought Mudster every day.
That's why we played
hours.
Xbox.
He
right,
sits up
Merlin?
there.
We got to relive that.
he never dies.
Yeah,
He just sits up there for hours.
Yeah, kind of.
I was
think
in
they
Heidel
should
the other
add-
day, and my map glitched out. Like I could see through the world, and I saw Mudster just staying on air out there. He was just out there, just chilling, just standing out there in the middle. I was like, "Oh, it feels bad.
That's
no one wants to kill him."
I think they should
Except
add
for
World
Mudster.
Boss PvP back to Arsha. I think they should let us fight World Bosses on Arsha if we wanted to.
That's
if
a
we
really
really
good
wanted
idea.
to. Yeah. And I would love that anyway. Like just not take it out for everybody because PvEVP content is enjoyable. There's not that many games that have the PvEVP. Like before and after is great. But I also think that during is really exciting. There's a lot of games that have been coming out, a lot of games that a lot of games that are coming out, a lot of games that have come out in the last 6 to 8 years that have some type of PvEVP where you're fighting a computer thing and you're also fighting other players for it. You're fighting some type of a boss against other players. I honestly enjoy some of that PvP more than Garmouth a lot. I do like that a lot.
I don't agree with the removal of PvP during bosses in general. I don't know.
I think the only boss
if
I
it
would
was really that bad, I think they could have made it so that bosses, like if you die to a boss, you don't take death penalties. Maybe that way, like if people get last hit while they're PvPing, that would be fine. But completely disabling it seemed kind of knee jerk to me.
I think there should have been two changes. One, that you all loot is like Vel, and it all goes into your Black Spirit Vault. That way, there's no chance you lose it. And then the second change I would have made was that there'd be no killing at Vel, because I think that makes sense to lose your boat out there. You get stranded forever. It takes you like 5 hours to get back. That's kind of like that. I think there's an argument to be had for that one boss, but all the other ones, I think PvP is an enhancer, right? It makes the game more fun, more spontaneous, more enjoyable.
Yeah, BDO Navy is like the only guild that's still like living in the pink cloud of enjoying ocean PvP, like clapping kids, going negative karma on the way out every Sunday. No joke, dude. BDO Navy is still coming through every week, dude.
What's
I love
a pink
that
cloud.
It's like the magical journey. Like you're still like you're riding the hype and the innocence and the naivety of like, oh man, I love VDO. This game's so great. Yeah, hell yeah, here I go. Man, I got my first try. Yes. Before the nonsense of holy shit, I'm gonna have to grind for trillions of hours to get my next upgrade, right? That's the pink cloud, dude.
Okay, so that emotions color is pink. I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pink, dude. Yeah. It's pink, dude. Do you want it to be a different color? Do you not accept the color choice there?
So how about we move on from this for a little bit? There's somebody in chat said something, and I think it might be an interesting thing to talk about for a few minutes. Somebody asked if Moreland enjoys anything about this game anymore, and I think that's an interesting topic to maybe touch on, like why we still play the game outside of streaming, or would we still play the game if it wasn't for streaming, or what we still enjoy about the game a little bit. I know I'm kind of pulling something from the chat.
There's several things that I like about the game. So people ask me this a lot. They think that I hate the game, which is not the case. I think that what's frustrating for me about BDO is that the gap between what the game is and what the game could be is like bigger than any gap I've ever seen in my life. Like, I'm not saying BDO is a bad game, but I do think it could easily be 10 times better. And it wouldn't even take that much effort. It would just take a little bit of like actual sit down and thinking about what the game's major problems are. And we can make it actually 10 times better. Like the enhancing system could be fixed very easily. There's a lot of things that could be fixed. So it's not that I hate the game, but there are things that have been going on for years that are certainly very frustrating. Things like Warrior FPS or Warrior DPS being tied to FPS is just insane to me. That makes me not want to play the game. Like there's lots of things that are frustrating, but I don't hate the game. I wouldn't quit the game if I wasn't streaming it. But there are definitely times where I want to take a break and go play something else. I mean, I've been on this game for 4 years. I think that's only natural.
I'm sort of like the same way. Like my thing is I enjoy going for level and going for gear, right? But like at this point, like going for pin accessories and stuff like that, it's like it's a drain. It's a drain for sure. And so like main reason I keep on streaming is mainly for the community, right? Like I want to provide community and help people enjoy the game better, and so I get fulfillment in BDO by making the game more enjoyable for other people to play, right? Because I've already been there, done that. So why not turn my 100-hour experience into a 10-minute answer, right, and help them out. That's why I would kind of wake up and keep on streaming every day and keep on playing BDO, because I enjoy that. When someone says thank you in chat or
I don't want to do anything that helps other people unless it directly benefits me.
Dude, right, bro?
I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that.
God damn. I fucking love that, Moreland. I love that, dude. Oh man, I love BDO. I love
BDO.
I love this game so much. I think that when you talk about what could be, that's one thing, but what there is a whole nother animal. So like in the reality of active open world action combat PvP content, you've got BDO, you've got Cyrodiil, you've got like the list just it just drops off. It's a scary world after you drop off there.
See,
Like, what else is there?
I just don't agree with that, man. Like, coming from actual open world PvP games, this is not an open world PvP game. If they added some meaning to the combat, then I'd be like, the combat itself is great, right? But when you kill someone in this game, it doesn't matter. Nothing happens.
There's no.
That's fun though. It's fun though.
There's no spawn penalty.
Dude, it's way
there's
more fun
no
when
reward.
there's like
I
there's
hear
something at stake.
Yeah.
So Arcage, I think had a better open world system, but the fun of it, like actually fighting. I think that fighting, just for the sake of fighting, is fun.
You're a big fan of the feel of the combat, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
I also like, what else is better right now, Moreland? That's what I'm saying.
I think what like.
I could list some games.
What I enjoy is I like the meaning behind it, right? So like, is there a leaderboard that I'm going to like? Am I going to lose gear? Am I going to like lose crystals? Right? Like, what's the cost? If there's no cost associated with it, then there's less meaning. Yeah, it can still feel awesome, right? And it can still like BDO is a very good feeling game combat wise, but there's no meaning behind it. When you wake up and you're like, all right, what did I accomplish yesterday? Well, I killed 5 people. What does that do for me? Well, I killed 5 people. Yeah.
Well, it's a sandbox. I kind of really hate this argument, right? Where there's no meaning. It doesn't mean anything. It's a sandbox. And if you want to turn it into a cat box, pull your pants down and take a nice big shit in there, right?
Well,
so if you killed 5 people and you don't feel anything,
I don't think there's anything wrong.
Your problem,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just there's people who prefer different types of games, right? I tend to like a balance between feel of the game and the meaning behind the game. I like a balance between both of them. Some people lean heavily on meaning, which is like Rust, like the Wilderness and RuneScape, things like that, right? And BDO is basically, it leans extremely on the feel good combat, but no meaning at all, right? And it just depends on what kind of game you prefer. We all prefer slightly different games, but it just happens BDO crosses over a couple of those boundaries.
I just think that like you've even if you talk about a better system, if there's better systems out there and people aren't playing them, are you gonna sit in that universe with 7 people, or are you gonna try to find a place where people are playing and it's live? There's also a place where you have to say there is a community, there is a active
Albion
community
Online
playing.
Player base doubled in the last month. There's plenty of people playing these other games.
Did you just say something about the world of Albion Online?
It's just that some people don't want to play an isometric, phone-looking game, right? So, like, the actual combat in BDO is much superior. But as far as PvP, like, I'll take Albion's PvP all day long, because when I kill someone in Albion, it's way more of a rush than killing someone in BDO. Like, the two aren't comparable. Even though BDO's combat system is far superior, it's so much more enjoyable. I could PvP in Albion all day long and never get tired of it. In BDO, it's like, oh, I spawned at node for the 38th time, like, let me check the war score. I guess we're winning. It just doesn't have that like sense behind it. There's nothing visceral to it. It's kind of just like, it's all about like, I don't know, bragging rights or something. It, like, outside of Siege, there's just not really anything to it.
No, so I agree with that, right? The other, if you can't find fun in the open world PvP of this game because it's the risk reward system is almost non-existent, that's fine, right? I respect that. The reason I played Darkfall for so long is which was, for if you don't know what Darkfall is, look it up. It's a terrible game, but what they did right was it was a hardcore full loot PvP game. So like anytime you went out to like gather, if you wanted to craft, you either had to go with a buddy or just be ready to get zerged out or zerg someone out. It was always risk reward, always. And when you killed somebody, you got everything that was on them. It was amazing, but it's exhausting too. So I think having a low risk or no risk reward system for PvP allows you to just PvP without having to worry about other things. So there's other games out there that scratches those itches, and I don't think BDO should be that. It was in the beginning.
I don't think BDO needs to have like full loot or anything. The game's clearly not designed for that. But I would like to see something like maybe increasing spawn timers so that someone can't just zerg your node over and over again when you're killing them. Or maybe a system that like forces you to spawn town if you die 3 times within a certain number of minutes. Like there should be something that allows me to actually win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like other than just zerg spawning the node. That's what I mean by like meaningless PvP. I don't want people to lose their progress or anything like that. I don't need to loot their gear. There are other games for that, but there needs to be some win condition, even if it's a small one.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that. Like spawn timers is something that Arcade did, and I think that felt wonderful in that game. And it also felt really punishing when I died a few times. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not so good at this PvP thing, guys. I might need to just peace out here for a little bit. I'll come back in an hour. You know, let me TP out of here and go to another place. And I can kind of get behind that. Like, I think that's a good idea to make BDO more enjoyable. Add some type of small win.
You think like reason, risk, and reward all need adjustment in BDO open world?
I don't necessarily know if we need reason. Like, we don't need incentives to kill people in open world. I think the incentives should be done through better battlegrounds, arenas, and the siege scene. But there certainly should be some kind of like, if I'm fighting over a grind spot or something, I should be able to win that grind spot. First of all, I don't think Alien's Tears should work in PvP. I think that's absurd. And I think that, like I said, there should be some number of times where I kill the person where I just win the fight and they have to fuck off and run back from town or something.
Yep.
So
like
apparently KR has a better or a different red karma system. Your gear doesn't downgrade. You get a debuff every time you die, and it goes away when you go positive. Do you guys know about that? Somebody in chat just brought that up. I haven't read anything about it.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard that. That just doesn't sound real to me.
No, I usually keep up with those kind of things. Unless it was like just add to the global lab like today or something like that, then I don't know.
Anyway.
One
that.
last thing on the patch notes that I saw is they added some type of boss to Pro Cave where it kind of like upgrades into 6 different tiers.
Yeah, it's garbage. I went there while grinding that piece.
It looks so cool.
Dude, it does look cool, actually.
Yeah, it's another one of those things that's like cool in concept, but in actual design,
Poor balance.
Like, it's just
yeah,
it's all concept and no implementation.
Well, maybe in another 2 years they'll rework it.
I mean, they tried. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think the most interesting thing we've got for any grind spot in the last 3 years is damn Abandoned Monastery.
Yeah, they did a really good job with Abandoned Monastery.
Oh, they reworked Pirates, I think, on a test server. Paddock's Island has been on the test server for a little bit now. And
are we doing test server now? Are we going into test server this week? Because there's juice in test server.
I haven't gone through it, so you guys are gonna have to lead the way on that one. But I heard about Paddock's Island getting updated. What do you guys think?
I heard there were huge changes on the test server this week. I didn't go over anything either.
They recanted it together almost immediately.
Really?
What?
They recanted it almost immediately, and so they had all these huge changes, right? Like Ranger was getting 35% decrease. So it looks like what they were trying to do conceptually was increase time to kill, outside of just siege, by nerfing almost every single class and then giving Berserker everything choices ever wanted. But seriously, it like all of his talking points, it was weird how it hit it exactly. And so Zerker was going to be this god class, and KR had a fucking riot over it. They lost their shit, and they went, okay, all right, we're gonna keep this in mind. We'll keep it on the table, and we'll keep thinking about this.
Yeah. Didn't they make a post where they literally were like, we're definitely not going to put this in the live game. We're going to keep testing it. Like they made a whole separate post trying to calm people down over those changes.
Yeah, they're just like easy. We're serious.
I feel like the thing is, like, you got to be careful. Like, just if you go on Reddit and implement every single Reddit idea ever, you'll create the worst game in the history of video games. And you just got to be careful, like, what kind of ideas you take and where you run with them, right? And then also use critical thinking yourself as a game developer to decide what is correct for your game, what is not correct for your game. And I feel like that's something that they miss out a lot of times on. So that's why we get these like weird ideas implemented into the game, and then they have to recant them because like they have to play the game in order to understand what's good for the game, right?
Yeah.
I like that they're thinking about it though.
Yeah, I do. I do think that they're going in the right direction. I think the thought process is the right direction. I think the implementation needs to be better, right?
I think they should have tried it. I think they should have put it on the test server and just tried it for a while, right?
I don't think there's anything wrong with testing something on the test server, but the type of situation that we get into is that the second something happens in the test server, people start screaming about it in world chat in game. They scream about it on Twitch chats, and they're like, "This is what's happening. This is exactly what's coming into the game. They're doing this."
Yeah, they like sell their weapons. And
well,
that's not on the server. Somebody says it's still on the test server.
But one of the problems.
Yeah, I think it's still on there.
One of the problems is that they basically never fix anything that's wrong on a test server before they implement it live, right? So we have this mentality of whatever goes on the test server is going to go to live server, And
Well, that wasn't true with Succession. They made some pretty big changes to Succession as it came out too.
On some classes.
But
some
that's just the
classes.
mentality that people have right now, right? Because they've done that so much. Now you can find exceptions to that, of course, but like for the most part, that's the mentality of the general populace, right? Which is why you have these negative responses like this when it's just on the test server.
I don't know. I get really worried when there needs to be feedback. The test server is great. It's a great place for testing, but for everything to immediately come into the game that way, ignoring people's reaction is one thing. In addition, another scary thing that happens is just because one person that plays the game in one particular area of the game that has X amount of following in the game, that doesn't mean that making those changes that person wants is necessarily a good thing for everybody. And on the flip side, just because everybody in the game wants one thing, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good change for everyone that plays the game, just because it's, popular opinion.
True.
Or whatever. Those are two huge things that everybody kind of needs to understand. Like, everybody that is not maximum gear score that wants to get to maximum gear score would agree that they want this game to be easier. They want more for their money, and they want to be, or more for their money, more for their time. They want to be stronger than they are right now for free. Everyone would agree on that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that making the game that way would be good for the game.
Right. I think something this game suffers from is not finding the balance between believing in themselves to either publish or develop the game versus taking the community's advice at irresponsible times. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to dip into drama here, but like also it's a recurring thing where, it's like, we really want this. And they're like, all right, you can have it. And it's like, we really don't want this. And they're like, okay, you can't have it. Instead of them just going, look, this is, and explaining why they're doing it and having some kind of consistency and transparency about it. I think that's something that's plagued this game from day one.
I agree.
They need a council or something of people that they really trust to give them some sort of feedback, or maybe they do. I don't know, but it seems like
a partner program or something.
Wow, man! Imagine if BDO had a partner program.
You might be onto something there. I'm
not being coy.
Why don't they do that?
Am I the only one who's allowed to talk about this right now? Am I the only one who's allowed to go off if I want to?
Oh no, I don't give a shit. I'll go off.
Dude, I left the BDO partner program last week. I said flat out, it's been great. Take my name off everything. I'm out. I think that they've just completely dropped the ball. I think that they've completely dropped the ball with this game and this community. I think that the people that are running that damn program have no idea what goes on in the Twitch, no idea what goes on in the game. And it is outside of them giving free shit, which, a lot of people are going to want to grab for their communities and want to give people to. It's not even, it pales in comparison to every single partner program for content creators in every other MMO since the dawn of fucking time, dude. It was wild. I've had such a bad experience.
They really have any incentive to do their jobs. Like, I think what they're mainly trying to do is just kind of keep things quiet and avoid controversy. Because if they tell us anything that's even remotely useful, they constantly have to be worried that they're going to get in trouble for talking to us, essentially, right? Like, that anything they say to us could be spun off into a whole nother controversy. So they just don't ever talk to us. And I don't know how that company is structured, but it doesn't seem like the people that we're dealing with actually have the power to like say what they want to say. They constantly have to dance around everything and be super political.
Well, yeah, one thing that we got recently was with the whole Snake HP thing, right? Which that was its own that's its own big topic, but that's not what I want to get into. But the thing that was, like, they gave us the same response that they gave as official response in the like the Korean server or Chinese server or Japanese server, one of the other ones. Like, it's exact. If you translate it, it's the exact same thing that we guys copy paste it. And so
yeah, of course it is.
And so, like, it's even when we do get told something that's actually important, it doesn't even come from them. It's just like we have to wait for Prohibitus to say it. So
that makes sense in their publishing, right? It's not necessarily always their call, especially when it comes to major things with the game, right? They're basically salesmen, right? Mm-hmm. They localize and they do some work, but they're basically selling somebody else's product, and it is their business. So, well, I guess I like it when they go back to PA, so we don't have the mapping situation.
The main thing that I'm really, I guess, getting at is like the turnaround time is still too long, right? Like, this time we at least got a response.
Feedback loop is way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like if we give good feedback to them, it's like you're telling me you give like once a week that you can actually tell Pluribus what our feedback is. Like, what if we like find out that like, oh, it wasn't the biggest issue we thought, maybe we were wrong, right? Like, you have to wait a whole nother week before that you can tell them that we got it wrong or whatever,
It's wild because for situations that are occurring to a certain degree within a community, you'd expect more of an immediate response. And then when you're talking about like large scale changes inside of a game or what a community wants, there's a different importance or level of weight that those changes carry, right?
Yeah.
So I think in general, there's a big difference between Western development and a really big difference between Eastern development. And I think that games that developed in the East they come from this like business-based value respect system where it's from the top down. And in the West, it's a completely different system where they genuinely appreciate and are seriously looking for the feedback of the community to change the game. I think one of the crazy things for me, at least from my perspective, watching the way that Square Enix grew and developed their community program and started listening to the things that the players wanted, there was this freaking boss that was a ball. It was just a ball, a circle. And they had a joke with one of the little lolly characters, the Lalafell, of like the Lalafell just like laying on the top of this ball. And that was how it was going to ride the thing. And they started putting in silly shit like that in the game. World of Warcraft does a fantastic job of giving the fans what they want in the game. We just don't see it. We just don't see that readiness in this game.
Well, I want to argue about World of Warcraft but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, well, the content is separate from mounts, all right? But like silly things like that.
They actually do a good job with their mounts. They do.
Yeah.
A lot of people are happy with their system.
I don't want to get into that.
You don't like? Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's start this.
All right.
I like my Ulador dragon. Okay, I was very happy to get that. That's all.
You play a lot of WoW, Moreland? I didn't know you played a lot of WoW, dude.
No, I don't play any because they have things like store mounts.
Store mounts? You don't like those?
You guys want to talk about the Encanto Inner Harbor storage slots that we can now buy on the Propulsion?
Spending $20 for a golden dragon on World of Warcraft upsets you.
Have they given us Ilia Island yet? That's all I want to know. Do we actually have Ilia Island yet? Ilia Island's important. Do we have that yet?
Ilia Island's the only one that's important. It's the only island that's important. We need that storage, and if it's not that, then
wait, didn't they have that like months ago?
I don't know. Did they?
I don't think so.
I checked a while back. Here, I'll check right now.
Biggest interest in when I started bartering.
All right, let's see here.
I'm just saying, coming from BDO Cash Shop, dude, like I'll pay for whatever I want in another game. It's nothing like BDO. So,
Misinformation shop strikes again.
Oh, it's right there. Well, this one's Encanto Inner Harbor is good for bartering, right? You can use keep all your trade goods in Encanto Inner Harbor now.
This is why we have Moreland with Potion Shop, is to keep Potion Shop on the straight and narrow here.
I don't know.
Just because of
I don't read the patch notes.
Oh, I don't believe you.
Patch notes. Do we maybe want to move on to talk about other games that we're currently playing, or do we have some more stuff we'd like to talk about? Cacao games.
I'm good on BDO, dude. I'm good.
Just a few. Let me do a few honorable mentions here. Console got infinite potions this week, so that's a pretty big deal for them. Last week they got Garmoth, so they're catching up console very fast to PC.
Oh my god! Can you imagine how many seconds per frame there is during Garmoth?
No, they made it a guild boss.
Yep.
Actually, it's
Guild
not
boss.
a world boss. You have to summon it with your guild. I think that's how they keep like too many people from doing Garmoth on console.
They're thinking with their head.
That was a point I wanted to make, was that with the Garmoth change this week, there was server lag, like actual server lag on different servers. I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing too, but like servers were seriously affected by the change when Garmoth got updated. I don't know if it was this week or last week, but I hope that thing gets corrected. I really hope that gets corrected.
That's too bad. I think the fight's much better, but if it's doing server lag, it's not worth it. The another honorable mention: Pluribus is celebrating their 1 year of self-publishing anniversary. So they're doing something in Korea about that. They're making a big deal.
That's KR, right?
Yeah, KR.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do such a great job self-publishing. They really do. That was one of my favorite things of being on Xbox, was working with the publishing team of PA.
I do think they do a good job.
Yeah.
I think that's fingers crossed. What the best case scenario for BDO in the current moment is looking forward to a future where North America and EU are also self-published. I think a lot of the feedback from KR has been incredibly positive since PA took over. So I respect the hell out of that. I wonder what this game would be like if that was the same for us.
Now, another big thing they did on KR this week is they implemented new guild missions across the board. So I think it's History, Akhman, Gaifin, Kamasylvia, Drigan, the Ordolito, the full shebang in Korea. So whenever we get that, that'll be pretty nice. We'll actually have relevant guild missions for the areas we're going in. So we can actually go and just grind and get extra money with guild missions. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yo, Discord.
I'm slow at reading. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, remember? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to do this before we finish that video.
You could just say it instead of us having to pull our phones out and fucking read it.
What is this one? Oh, yeah. So, new class. I'm going to try to pull up an image of the new class.
Oh, new class hype! Oh my god!
Can you just show the gif of you eating pizza
I want
instead?
to show it.
All right. So it looks sort of like a lawn armbands with a scimitar in the back, but a sorceress talisman. So are we getting like a main hand awakening weapons the same as lawn, and then awakening main hand's gonna be scimitars and talisman's gonna be offhand?
Where's the talisman? What are you talking about, talisman?
So sort of
link the picture.
Okay, here. I don't know how to do that.
Post it in Discord.
It's okay.
It's on the hideable ball thing, right?
Thank you.
I got it. It's in there.
Joe got it.
So yeah, basically a talisman for a sorceress crosses from her left shoulder to her right thigh. That's where it crosses. And so this one has a talisman, but instead of going to left to right, it crosses in the middle and goes back both ways. But it looks very similar to a talisman of a sorceress.
Can you send me a picture of what you're talking about in Discord so I can see it in relation? Because I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know.
Are you talking about this thing right here?
Yeah,
Okay, this thing in the center of the back.
Yeah, go to the pearl shop and look at sorceress outfits and look at talismans, and then you'll see the semblance between them. That's the best way you can do it, and that way you can show it.
Pearl shop sorceress.
And outfits.
So I've heard male sorc and swashbuckler, kind of like maybe a roguey type class or something.
Oh, I want a swashbuckler.
Like gangplank.
Dude, I don't want a male sorc.
Where did that idea come from?
The talisman, that's it, and it has the smoky vibes around him too. But I think it's. I hope that it doesn't have the iframe. I want to have the sorceress kind of like melee magic type deal, but I don't want the iframes. There's too much of that already.
Scimitar seems like an odd weapon for a male sorc. I'm not seeing that connection.
So I heard that the idea came from the combination of the visual of that class plus the Black Spirit Wish thing that we got a couple months ago. Someone said someone on a magical journey will join you this summer. Like that was I'm not kidding. Like that's where it came from. Like the when you asked, oh, is there a new class coming? And that says someone with the magical journey will join you this summer, or someone engaged in magic or some bullshit.
So I think instead of looking at a picture of a dude's butt and trying to figure out what this class is going to play like, maybe we should have a conversation about what we would like to see from a new class and what would be interesting, dynamic, etc. What do you want to see come out of a new class for BDO?
I want to see high mobility but low damage. So it's like death by a million bee stings. Maybe reduced healing when they attack you, something like that. So basically, you can move around a whole lot, but you're not going to be able to kill somebody one combo. So all our classes in BDO are like one combo classes. So like healing reduction on attack, like you're poisoned or something. Maybe it would damage over time. I don't know. There's lots of cool ideas I could do.
I'd like to see some more EverQuest 1 type classes in here, like an enchanter, right? Or a necromancer, stuff like that. Stuff that opens, because they dip their toe in it with shy, right? It's a terrible class, and it destroys Siege with their fucking bubble, but it's like the right idea, wrong execution kind of thing. And I'd like to see more of that just done correctly instead of haphazardly and ignoring that PvP exists in this game. But like having something like that, like somebody who doesn't do damage, they're close with Shy, but it's not. They didn't do it right, in my opinion. But I'd like to see more like that. You know, like we already have pets in the game. We could do necromancy. You could have a debuffing/buffing class in a way that's fun and entertaining, and you could still kill people. I don't understand why the Shy can't do damage, or it. You know, they went too heavy on that. But I'd like to see more interesting things like that to, like to your point, not have the one combo class, because we already have 19 of those.
Yeah.
18.
You're talking about what class you want to see overall, not what you think this is going to be, right?
Yeah, I was saying instead of trying to figure out where he's going to put that scimitar, you know, what we would like to see from a class coming into BDO.
I would love to see some kind of like necromancer warlock type class that can, like, you know, drain life, and I don't know, maybe long animations but sort of hard to kill, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that all of those things would be terribly interesting. I think that one of the things that a lot of people in the public are asking for is there's like a really big, overwhelming curiosity for necromancy. Like people are they're all like, every time you talk about new class BDO, it's just necromancer in chat. And
yeah, I get it a lot.
Dude, I think people actually like genuinely want that, like that type of a like summoning pet based, you know.
I want a dwarf.
The AI is so bad.
They're already in the
lag,
game.
The servers are so
Just
bad.
give me
I'm
a playable
concerned.
Amerigo and give me a shovel.
Dude, all I think about is Dwarf Archer from Arcade. That's all I think about is the damn Archer. Those guys jumping around back and forth, sidestepping, and they like somersault and like flip around in the air. Look like little Yoda from Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
I don't want a bow. I want a shovel.
No, I want imagine dual wielding great hammers, like
By
spinning
great
around.
hammers, you mean shovels? Then I'm 100% on board.
What's your sexual attraction to shovels?
Look, if I'm going to play a dwarf, I want to hit people with a shovel. I don't feel like that's too much to ask.
Dude, I had a traumatic experience with the shovel this week. Don't bring that up, dude.
Yeah, you did. Potion, what do you think about shovels?
If they do Amerigo with shovels, then I want to be able to dig in the desert and get 20% more loot, at least.
Oh no, we're bringing back digging.
No, dude.
Yep, I want to go full in on the digging meme, 100%.
Oh boy.
Every
I
time
still-
you attack someone, sharps and hards should just like fall on the ground.
Imagine. There's your incentive right there, dude. There's the reward. I still think that the conversation about what this class is going to be is on a lot of people's minds right now, dude. All I want to see with this thing is
I
want
don't think
two
it's a male
scimitars.
sword. It looks cool.
I don't
though.
think it is either. I that's what I wanted to go with it, bro. Somebody said that, and it's just the parrot. I feel like that is the it's male sork, and everyone just says it's male sork, and I don't think
That's
this
because
image
it is
shows the
male sork. Come on,
Well,
can't
dude,
you
oh
see
my
it?
God.
Come on.
Oh my god.
Well, Guardian was female berserker, right? And
Yes.
it's not the case, right?
Yes.
Is it close? No, not even really. But what I will say for this new class, and I think it's interesting that you think it looks cool, because I think they knocked it out of the fucking park with Guardian. The way she looks,
Oh yeah.
her whole thing about her, she's just this thickness queen. Everybody, top to bottom, casuals, hardcore PvPers, everybody just fucking loved Guardian as a character, right? Fun to play, a little overtuned, but that's a whole different conversation, right? So I think as far as character creation, they found their hole in their lineup of characters and just hit it fucking perfect with Guardian.
Agreed.
Yep.
And I was
Now-
paid $20 to say that.
This new class doesn't quite get me that excited. It sort of just looks like maybe another ninja.
Ooh, please
we'll have to see how they actually implement it.
Uh,
The only thing I'd fear more than a male sork would be a male ninja.
I just don't want any more iframes in this fucking game.
No, there's too many.
I would love to see what they could do with this class, like playing to its strengths, though. Like I imagine a sword wielding, like swashbuckling, whatever the analogy is there, but like Prince of Persia type class. So imagine if it had
could
the
be really
mobility.
cool.
Yeah, like imagine if it was like, I don't know, crazy high jump,
mean,
Like just
they
the
can make
crazy
it,
high
like,
jump and
really
air combat.
cancel driven, like pre-awakened warrior used to be, like before succession. That's kind of something I feel like was missing from the warrior succession, is just the ability to pull off like cool combos. That's something they could potentially do with this new class, since succession doesn't really do it anymore.
So all of the new classes that have come out really since like the beginning have been like really low APM classes, right? Like Shy's low APM, Guardian is what was Striker Mystic, very low.
Archer,
I guess
Archer Mystic
is,
Striker.
is Archer
backwards order.
high APM?
No,
I don't think so. Right?
Everything since Mystic was a reduction in APM from the one from before it.
Do you think they're trying to cater to the lowest common denominator?
Yeah.
I love using that. Or do you think we're going to see a higher APM class with this?
I think I think if they do it high
question.
APM class, it's going to be 1 out of like 5, right? It's going to be it's going to be very, very rare, because they want to do the lowest common denominator, but they realize there's a hardcore audience that really loves getting their hands on like a ninja, sorceress, tamer, like high APM class type deal, right? So I hope they find something similar.
Lon's
like
kind of high APM. Okay.
I feel
Lon
like
is high APM, but
I think Lon's like moderate. It's not the highest, because all you have to do is lane your grab and then you do a basic combo. It's not as high as like Ninja.
You're not really canceling animations with a lawn.
No.
I mean,
So
you're
that's
not really canceling
their
animations
highest.
with any of these classes for a long time.
Let's say that's the highest APM class that they've come out with in the recent releases. Then
Exactly.
then we have this pattern of continuously lowering the APM. And I if I was betting man, I'd put money on this is going to be just around the same APM as Guardian.
I hope that it's not. What Reticent in chat just said, low PM because of console, in his opinion. He thinks that the classes are getting easier and easier so that they can play on console or translate to console better.
Yeah, because Zerga doesn't translate to
part of the
console at all.
Yep.
Those kids that play Sork on console, though, holy shit!
Man.
And Musa, they'd have to turn the thing all the way up so they could like sneak around behind you. They figured that shit out, man. They really did. Yeah,
For all the shit I've
gamers.
ever talked about console, respect to the kids that play it.
That's
dude.
nuts. And trying to track a Sork with I felt like such a boomer. I'm like, how do I track an iframing Sork with this goddamn controller? Because you normally get close, right? But then you can't turn any faster, right? You can't whip around, so you get close. You're like, well, shit, now they're behind me. What the fuck do I do now? Anyway, Console X BDO is interesting. I can't believe it's it's just interesting.
It's a different game, man. It's a different game. It's a different game. But I think that this is definitely one of the hottest things that people are talking about right now, is what the heck this actually is, and what it's going to mean for the game.
If they came out with another like lawn type class, right, that had like the same type of feel of lawn, but like magic based maybe instead of melee based. Or
what do you mean feel?
Based. Like I like the APM that lawn has. It's not as crazy as like Sorceress, but it's not as slow as Guardian. Like I'm not a fan of Guardian, not because it's a bad class, but just because it's slower than my preferred playstyle, right?
Do you want this class to have something unique directly to it as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you guys, what do you guys think about pets? Because like the AI in BDO ain't that smart. It's just not. I don't think it'd work. Like if it was Necromancer.
I'm worried about lag, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Imagine having a
large scale.
Have 100 people, 10 pets apiece, 1,000 pets running around per team. There'd be 2,000 potential pets running around.
Wouldn't that already be a problem with Witch Wizard then in the game right now with pets?
I think it is to some extent.
I don't know how much laggier they make the game, but I'm sure they.
Oh boy! Imagine a meta class that was all pets, and it was like 100 of this new class with pets.
I say I've been talking about Necromancer for a while because people ask about it, right? And I think that should be the class himself. The character is the Necromancer, right? So he basically necromanced himself back to life, and so when he uses his power, he becomes more dead, right? And then he's like, so that's the balancing
like
mechanism.
Dark Souls.
Yeah. So if he uses up all his power, he's like a full skeleton, and he has to like recharge up. So something like that, where he's basically that's his power source. I don't know, but I mean that's the only way I can feel like a Necromancer would work. Because I just don't think the pet thing works. It doesn't work. So I don't know. I was just trying to be creative with a solution.
A full like bare bones skeleton would look so hot in lingerie. Like I think they could really sell some outfits.
Angel wings.
Puff Mini Zerker and Necromancer.
Oh, dude. Oh, Cabilius on a necromancer.
Santa hat. That's there you go. Dude, imagine a class that was like tanky that did no damage, and then as you decayed more, you did more damage, but you took more too. It was like a slider. You traded one for the other.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing they could do with a necromancer, right?
Yeah,
like but that would require them going kind of way outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't do underwear for a skeleton like that, because then you'd see his boner.
Get the fuck out of here. Just
okay, so moving on.
Challenge been catching the podcast.
Heidel ball thing. Are you gonna try to go to the Heidel ball?
They having another one of those.
Stupid drunk and typed some stuff on my application, and where they said link your video, I said I don't fucking think so. So I don't know if I can get picked.
Probably
it's at
not.
like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I also don't know with my timing. The timing of my my disembarkment. There's not even a fucking word leaving this program. I don't think I'm gonna be.
I doubt they even know, dude. Prolibus. I doubt they even know that you left.
Oh, maybe I still have a chance then. Maybe I do.
Yeah, this is a PA thing. I think you're okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I got the page open right now. Let's go do it. I don't think that you honestly miss anything from not being able to attend, because they're going to be showcasing that lobby.
You get
on
to
the stream.
Put your questions forward. I think that's the main thing of going.
Man, they're gonna. There's no way they're gonna let.
You don't think they're gonna pick your question anyways?
I think they're gonna pick the safest questions possible.
They're not gonna. If I raise my hand, there's no way they're calling to me.
I think the four of us are pretty fucked out of this one.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to do a podcast with us four, because it's just we're all a little unhinged.
Oh man,
I'll drink to that.
There you go, dog. That's all I got for BDO. I think that's like probably the biggest piece of news this week.
Other games?
Sure.
Yeah, you want to spend like 30 minutes talking about other games, what we're playing.
Moreland, I want to pick your brain this week, dude. You got to tell me about Last Oasis, man.
I think that should be the game to talk about.
So there's
the only thing I want to talk about. Oh, you got another one?
Two other games that are doing really well right now. Albion Online is, I don't know if it's at an all-time high, but it's definitely like doubled in the past couple months.
Right. Holy shit.
Albion is crushing it right now. They had a big update earlier this year. I played it a bunch. It's super, like, it's just in a really good place right now. It's a little bit zergy, like the new map that they had. It's kind of numbers dependent, but there's still a good amount of content for like smaller squads, and a lot of the zergs, it's pretty easy to join anyway. So if you are looking for a new game, highly recommend Albion. And then Last Oasis. Last Oasis completely surprised me. It's an early access survival MMO, and as soon as I heard that phrase, I immediately went like not interested. But it's completely shocked me with like how like well designed it is. Obviously, it's early access; it's got some bugs, but it's in a really good state. The game feels like nearly finished, actually. In a lot of ways, it's kind of missing some late game content, but it's a sandbox, so it doesn't really matter. Like the content is just picking fights with players and political wars and moving across the world and shit like that. But yeah, dude, I've been really enjoying Last Oasis. Like I can just play that game for 10 hours straight. It feels like 5 minutes went by.
All right. So for people who don't know, can you explain a little bit about Albion Online and Last Oasis?
So Albion Online is a full loot, like isometric. It's kind of like playing like a MOBA. That's kind of how I can describe the content. It's like a MOBA, but not as smooth. I'm not a huge fan of the combats, but it's got its moments, and the large scale fights are crazy. You have like 200 v 200 Zerg battles where you're jumping on and catching a clump of like 20 players, and then your mages are AoEing them down, and then everyone who dies, you get to vacuum up all their loot and then run away and deposit it and hope that your guildies don't notice you. Combat looting, it's fucking amazing.
An open world PvP game where you can play any way you want to. You in a player-driven economy. You can be a gatherer.
Yes, Joe, we know you're entertaining. Thank you.
In the world of Albion Online.
Do they still do that thing where if you gather, if something's been gathered or killed recently, you get like less rewards for killing it?
No, I don't think it's been like that for a while. They made the progression like way faster than it was a couple years ago. It's like 5 times faster. You can level up pretty quick.
It's a pretty intimidating game to jump into. I've tried a couple of times, and I felt very overwhelmed.
It's all about who you're playing it with. Like, it's one of those games wouldn't really recommend playing it solo, unless you just want to be like a merchant or something. But if you find a good group of people to play with, that game just is always popping up.
So serious question. What is the gameplay like battle system wise? Because I think that the graphics look pretty kiddie. I've never really taken it seriously, but
it's like imagine a MOBA, except you can have hundreds of people instead of a 5v5.
So you're talking about like League of Legends? I'm pointing and clicking on my screen.
Yeah, you're clicking to move. You have like 6 abilities that you're using on different cooldowns. It's mostly like you might have a movement ability, you might have a stun, you might have a skill shot. Like the skills are pretty similar to skills you might have just playing a hero in a MOBA.
Now,
but the scale is way bigger.
You get to pick your abilities, right? You get to pick your abilities, right?
Your abilities are determined by what gear you wear.
That's why I think I like about it.
Hundreds of different abilities that you can mix and match.
That's cool. So you get to like build your own character.
Is it like ESO in the abilities picking anyway?
I don't know. I didn't really get into ESO.
No, it's not.
Okay. You just so you have your gear. Your weapon gives you 3 abilities, and then you can choose sub abilities on that weapon. And then your boots have an ability, your chest has an ability, and your helmet has an ability. So you can mix and match those. Those also have sub selections. There's like so many different fucking options that you can choose for what your abilities are going to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like Guild Wars 2 a little bit.
Okay. Is it a game that I could like 1vx, or is it like something I have to play with friends to have enjoyment out of?
No, it's not a 1vx game. Last Oasis is a 1vx game. I've been seeing people in Last Oasis fight like 2v40. It's insane. Albion is not a 1vx game. Albion, you want to get a group of people. You can like 5v20 or like 40v100, but you can't like 1v5 in that game.
Okay,
it's not, the skill ceiling isn't that high.
So, and you're also saying that, like, would you say that this game has anything better specifically about playing with friends than any other MMO? Because I personally think any game that you play with your homies, you can have fun in. What would the playing with homies be different about in this game than another MMO?
You can share loot, so that's what I like about it. Is like you can share loot anyway. So you die and your buddy's like, "Hey, I got 5 more pairs of gear in the bank. Here's a pair," you know, or here's some cash.
Like a BR.
Yeah, it's
player-to-player trading.
Yeah, you can do it. Offline.
Yeah, dude, it's like got a full Eve style economy. That's trading is huge in that game.
So I could like walk into this game and somebody could hook me up immediately.
Yeah. You could.
The economy in that game is literally just fantasy Eve. Like they pretty much copied the economy from Eve and made it into a fantasy game. There's endless amounts of like trading and politicking and like, stuff that you can do.
So chat says that there's a big RMT problem there. Probably inherently with having that type of.
No, those are people who
is there pay to win too?
Those are definitely people who didn't actually play the game and don't know what they're talking about. There's not an RMT problem. So in a full loot PvP game, the idea of having an RMT problem is kind of silly to begin with. Right. Imagine that I go out. Yeah, imagine I go out and spend $1,000 on the best set of gear in the game, and then I die 5 seconds later, and some idiot loots it and teabags me. Yeah. And like, I mean, what are you RMTing really?
Thanks for the gift, bro. This is some sick gear.
If Soggy wants to play that way, let Soggy play that way, okay?
Imagine, dude. Oh my god.
I mean, like, yeah. Do you think Eve has an RMT problem? It's the same system as Eve. Like, there is a correlation between real life money and in-game currency, but your in-game currency isn't determining the outcome of your fights in that game. It's not like BDO where you buy the best gear and now you're unkillable if people don't have comparable gear. That's not how Albion works. You go out into the world, you can get zerged down, you can make bad decisions, you can get caught out. Even if you have the best gear in the game, you're gonna die and lose it.
Okay. All right.
So, talk to me about Last Oasis then. Let's focus on that. I bought it and downloaded it after we chatted.
I have it installed.
Yeah,
I have it installed.
We got to play it. Maybe after Siege or something. But dude, it's okay. So, first of all, it has this insane like networks physics system. So you have these giant mobile bases that you build, and you would think that would just be a giant desyncy mess, but it works so smooth. Like you can have all these big ships colliding with each other and flying off of cliffs, and the physics works beautifully. Like you can predict where things are going to land, even if you slam into something. Like the game doesn't desync. It's all network driven, and if you're playing on a server with like really high ping, sometimes there's some weird stuff that happens, but I can't believe like how well the game runs at a large scale for how early in development it is. Like the idea of having this giant vehicle that you can literally like run off a cliff and bounce off the side of a mountain and like flip it over. And meanwhile, you've got a grappling hook and you're like swinging around the side of a tree, and all the physics just works seamlessly. And you can tell like exactly where people are and what's going on. Nobody's rubber banding. It's pretty amazing so far what they've managed to do. And then
tell me about the gameplay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like really smart mechanics that they've added that I think solve the sweatiness of other survival games.
The vehicles look sick, by the way.
Yeah, so you can pack up your base into your vehicle and log out, right? So you can't do this during combat, obviously, but they got rid of offline rating. So you don't have to play the game 24/7. It doesn't have to be a second job like, Rust or these other games. When you're done playing the game, you pack your shit up, you log out, and you're good. You're not in danger while you're not playing, unless you leave your stuff out for whatever reason. In addition to that,
that's the only reason I never played Rust. I would just do 1v1s to tell kids in COD I was better than them, but I'd never actually play the game.
I'm out of that type of game, dude. I hate that.
So one of the other things they did is they made it so that the entire world map periodically burns up and you have to constantly move to the east. So the game's on a 2-week cycle, and every day the westernmost part of the game burns up and a new map or a new like portion of the map opens up to the east. So you can't just like zerg out and build a huge base that's impenetrable that takes you like months to build. That's not going to happen. You got to keep moving. You have to rely on your walkers. There's always going to be people who are pushing into each other's territory because everything's on the move. Apparently they're going to have like event tiles that open up at certain periods that have, special resources or whatever on them. So yeah, there's a ton of potential with what they can do, but the burning plus the ability to kind of like protect yourself from offline rating, I feel like it makes it way more accessible to just a mainstream audience rather than the like 18-hour a day typical like survival nerds that kind of ruin those games.
Well, what I like about it too is like after 2 weeks they could just add new maps and it just feels authentic because and after maybe another 2 weeks you have more new maps, right? So that if they wanted to add new maps they could just rotate them in 2 weeks, right? So you
constantly changing environment, nothing gets stale.
Now maybe not right away because they have a lot of stuff in development right now, but like eventually that could be easy content for them.
I like the idea of a game like basing itself around the world is flat. I think that's great.
I think
but seriously, I think that mechanic is one of the most intelligent things I've seen put into a large scale MMO, PvP, whatever you want to call it, type of game where the it's constantly moving. You can't just have that impenetrable fort, and then it's also a skill set to be able to pack up and move, right? I think that's all extremely. It's like everything that sucked about Rust, and then throw in a couple other things, and boom, you have a phenomenal sounding video game. So I'm excited to play it. But what I wanted to talk about too, not to get off topic here, but I'm having a tough time trying to figure out how to balance, especially being a main BDO streamer, right? Like that's my main thing. I want to stay relevant with gear and my personal skill and help with the guild and all that kind of stuff. But I also want to play other games. So how do you guys balance continuing progression within the game, whatever that means for you, and playing other games?
Cooking is actually pretty good.
You guys play other games?
Cooking is actually a pretty good way because think about this way.
You get a dope cooking strategy.
Yep.
Cooking and alchemy, processing to some extent, just it's shit you can do AFK while you're playing other games.
Do you barter while you play? Do you ever do that?
No, I think you could, but it would take a long time to get that set up properly. Like there's a learning curve, and then there's also like the time it takes to get the materials to get your ship upgraded and all that.
It's like 2.5 months from scratch as a new player. Yeah. I mean, you make good money at that point, but I think cooking is the straightforward way because you can just cook for 15 minutes and check it every 15 minutes, right? It's like this is super easy.
Well, longer now, right? With Monos, you don't necessarily get your timer down to 1 second, do you? Or are people not using the Monos clothes? Are people still using the silver?
Well, it depends what you want to go for. If you use Monos and you can get down to a few seconds and maybe go for 30 minutes, right? And then what you can
that's what I mean.
and then
Like
you
if
get
you
way
have
more
like a
CP
30
then,
to
right?
60-minute timer on your cooking tool, that's pretty easy to manage as long as you like have your resources set aside and you know what you're making. You just tab in once or twice an hour.
Yep. And what will happen is you'll be making like easily 30 to 100 mil an hour, depending on how good you are with it, with your spreadsheets and all. And you only have to check it every 15, 30 minutes.
I think that's like pretty much the biggest issue that plagues BDO is the fact that at some point you're going to be looking at, weeks/months of a grind to accomplish your next gain.
We kind of don't have a soft cap like we used to. It used to be like you got 253 AP and you felt like you were sort of done. Like there were still ways you could progress, but you didn't feel like you had to push as hard. And we don't, with Cafris and everything, we don't really have that anymore. Like there's kind of always something that you need to be doing now.
My brain is like completely laser focused on getting C9 all armors right now.
Well, So after that, that's where I stopped. I was going to make this point a little bit earlier, but when we were talking about like currently what's going on, I hit C9, I hit 305 or full tet accessories, and I started slowing down. Right now, like enjoying the best I can out of the game, making constant progress is huge, but I can't grind as hard as I did a year ago. I can't do the same things, the 12 hours in history, 16 hours in history. I've tried, but this whole
mental health wise, this is hard.
Oh, dude, it's just insane. It's a game where the strongest and quote unquote best players are the guys that never log out of the game, that are spending X amount of money plus X hundreds of dollars, and you just can't compete with it. You actually can't compete with it as a non-paying player, and as a player who doesn't have the homies logged in all the time. You just can't compete with it. So I've been looking for a game like this.
I just gave my account info to my cousin in the Philippines. He's just
I thought your little brother. Your little brother?
Yeah, we're related, so it's legal.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna do the juice? We got 17 minutes. We got juice. We got time for juice. I don't want to go there. Yeah, I'm playing. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do it, dude. I think the idea of playing a game like this, where you could like go in with your homies, I could play for like 4 hours in a row and still have a fun time, and like log out and pick back up where I started in a game like this, in like last Oasis, or even if it was a game like BDO, but to not have to stay logged in all the time to play as a supplement or play as a complement to something else.
Yeah,
I think that's, dude, because I'm getting boomer age, man. I can't play. I don't have the fast twitch 12-year-old, ADD flipping Adderall reflexes. I can't be doing games like that, man. I can't play that.
Yes, you can. I've seen you dance around in my living room,
bro. Whoa!
I heard there's lots of room for activities there.
Lots of room for activities.
I like that. This is a tease for future content, eh?
but so and I want to kind of wrap this around into other games. I think one of the biggest things that I dislike about, I'm a dad too, right? So I have to do dad stuff, and that takes up time, and that's wonderful. But one of the biggest things that I kind of miss about before I started streaming was like one of my greatest gaming experiences was playing the Mass Effect trilogy years after it came out. And I just don't, like, if I was streaming during then, I don't know if I'd really afford myself, because now playing video games is a business decision. I think Moreland's done an excellent job of kind of setting himself up to be able to not miss out on other games. And I'd pay attention to that, because I miss these games and I really want to play them, whether or not they're marketable on my Twitch channel. I still need to take the time. That's why I almost never stream on Fridays, is I just hang out with my friends and play Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
A different game, just turn it off completely. But it's hard to like do a Dark Souls run through
at this point. You're talking about
frustrating game without
you're talking about a balance, right? You have to balance out work life, because at this point, streaming started off as a hobby for fun, right? And now it's business. And so when you turn it off, there's nothing wrong with turning it off, and then let's just pick up the game that you want to play and then go have fun for 4 or 8 hours, whatever, Like I think that's the solution to some of the games, and games that are marketable to the people that want to watch them on your stream. Then you can pick it up. Like if I want to go and play, I don't know, RuneScape right now, that might work, right? But if I wanted to go and play Fortnite, nobody would watch me, right?
Yeah, it's a really tough
Fortnite.
I would watch the fuck out of you play Fortnite.
We like Potion Shop though. I think it's one of the toughest things. One of the toughest things that you face as a full-time content creator when you have the transition from hobby to job And then you say, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to be spending my time live growing? Or am I spending my time live building a community? Am I going to be spending my time live enjoying? And it's a serious decision. You know, I've made my decision. I know what my business identity is. I know what I'm trying to do. I know where I'm going, but that doesn't mean that I can't have fun when I'm doing it. Like we played Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I had a chance to play that game a day early from Square Enix, you know, from the relationship that I have with that company. But that's the only new game that I've played in like, I don't know, a year and a half on my stream, you know? So it's tough. For me, if I'm playing video games all day, I don't necessarily want to play more video games when I finish my stream, unless it's continuing work. You know, like I've been grinding this game 8 to 10 a day, plus, you know, 4 to 6 hours extra some days in my free time. And this last 2-3 months, I've finally taken a step back and just said, you know, like let's enjoy life. Let's take a step. Let's like not just play BDO all day, every day. I think there's nothing wrong with it, like if it's done correctly. So I'm not going to be a Valorant streamer. I think that shit's ridiculous. Honestly, I'm not going to be a Valorant streamer. I'm not going to be a Fortnite streamer, but I think that showcasing games within my wheelhouse or within, you know, that share similar aspects of the genre that I'm currently playing, I think that's something that can be really easily be done. And at the same time, like we all have opportunities to sell the fuck out anytime we want, let a company tell us what to play, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hell yeah. Oh my God, I need to respond to that email. I forgot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Anyway, shit.
You're welcome.
Raid Shadow Legends.
This is Raid Shadow Legends. Play now. Download now.
My clan on Raid is recruiting. If any of you guys want to.
Oh, is there a code? Is there a code I can use?
Well, hold on. I'm about to do one of those things. So don't sign up yet. Don't sign up yet, guys. Don't sign up yet. I'm in negotiations. All right. But I saw that you actually have a clan and you're active with that game.
It's a good second monitor game.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Honestly,
which grind simulator? Yeah.
Which do you enjoy more?
It's a mobile game.
Do you like BD Mobile better than Raid or mobile?
No, BD Mobile is definitely better than Raid. Yeah, for sure. Okay. BD Mobile is one of the most intelligently designed games that I've ever seen in my life. It's so insane comparing the events and the progression and just every aspect of BDO Mobile to the PC version. I look at the two games and I just don't even see how they were made by the same company. Right? It's like they learned every lesson they needed to learn from PC and fixed it in mobile, but then they continue to make the same mistakes on PC after they fix them in mobile. It's so interesting to watch.
Maybe it's easier to apply the lessons they've learned on mobile because the margins are greater and they're more interested in making that a business.
I think it has to do with the fact that it's a different team and some of the people in control of the PC version maybe can't let go of, you know, some old bad habits.
I think the mastermind who made Black Desert moved over and worked on BDO Mobile. He's like, hey, you want a promotion? All right, we'll increase your pay if you go and work on BDO Mobile. Oh, yeah? How much?
The guy in charge of BDO Mobile he seemed pretty young, right, Joe?
Yeah, dude, he's honestly one of the most handsome people we met that entire weekend. No joke. This guy was like the Don Draper of BDO. Dude, he's just this guy.
Was the question how attractive he was?
No, listen, I'm adding that in. He had this. Dude, you noticed when he walked in the room. You know what I'm talking about, Marlon. You saw his hair. You saw it, dude. He just had it going on. I'm being honest. He had it going on.
To get drunk with too.
Dude, I had no idea who he was.
I'm not judging. It's fine. It's fine.
This dude is the lead developer of Black Desert Mobile. Like, what the?
You're way too fucking gorgeous for that.
I was like, holy shit.
You can't be game developer and be pretty. That's not allowed.
I thought they hired him to stand at the booth. Like, what the fuck? I'm not joking. Dude, the guy was handsome.
Okay.
Moreland, am I wrong?
He's a good looking guy. I mean,
dude, I'm keeping it real. You were in Vertex, you know what I'm talking about.
That's a good point.
Were you gonna make a point about this handsome man? I'm sorry I cut you off.
We got like 10 minutes left. Let's you guys want to go into Q&A for the closing?
Questions from chat or questions from mods? What do you think?
You guys just pick them from your chat how you want them. I don't know how you guys run your streams, so just pick some questions from your chat, however you decide. And
all right, / unban all. Here we go. While we get questions,
I can type again. Yay!
I wanted to ask you guys if any of you play FPS at all, like on or off stream, or did when you were growing up or anything like that. Play any Counter-Strike or COD or whatever.
I'm trying to see if this Modern Warfare 2 remake is going to have multiplayer, because I played that back in the day. I could get a nuke here and there.
I played Call of Duty or Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, and then I didn't play anymore. And then I played Halo a whole bunch. Mainly Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo... What was the other one? ODST or something like that?
So you're a console FPS player then?
Yeah, and I'm terrible at FPS on PC. It did not translate at all.
Same for me. I didn't have a serious computer gaming setup until like the AMD hooked me up with my rig. I played console my whole life, console FPS. It was what was it? Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, PlayStation 3, and that other game that the guys looked like bees. The Instinct or on PlayStation 3 release, it was like
Killer Instinct.
No, it wasn't Killer Instinct. It was forget the name of it, but it was fun. It actually used the DualShock. Like you could get into a vehicle plus like you, and I don't remember what it was, but ton of Call of Duty on console, and I'm just not that good. A ton of Halo 2, ton of Halo 3, but I haven't played those games since like high school, since college.
LAN parties, man, I miss those.
Dude, oh my gosh. Just something different about playing a game on a couch with your friends, and like the camaraderie of like playing with somebody in person. Internet, tons of online games and online matches and lobbies and shit.
I don't think I've seen a human being in 3 months,
bro. It's
well, growing up, so I always had a computer, right? I played a lot of FPS, and I think my 16th birthday, my dad like rented computers or something, and we had like it was bring your own computer. I had a bunch of friends with computers, and we rented a bunch of monitors from Circuit City and had a LAN party at my house, and we all played Counter-Strike 1.3, I think at the time, or maybe 1.5, and then LAN centers started popping up, and like my 18th birthday, I think, was at a LAN center, and we all played CS 1.6. And so that was like what we did growing up, is we played WoW and Counter-Strike since 1.1. And so it's been weird. WoW really took over for me, going from, I was okay. I was way better back then than I am now at FPS, but MMOs just took over for me because they're just so much more content and drama. The sandbox idea of not being at a theme park. This is how you're supposed to enjoy a game. You can make your own fun. Really drew me away. And then like FPS is a young man's game. I follow a guy, Brood Gaming. He's 31 years old and he's a professional Apex player. And I got a lot of respect for that, because it's a bunch of 16-year-olds that are popping that shit off. But I wish I could play FPS more, and that's why I have fun going back to like Warzone for COD. It's palatable in small doses, but it still scratches that itch for me.
So question here is the state of Musa. What do you guys think the state of Musa is?
I don't really want to talk about that.
I don't know anything about Musa, so I don't think I wouldn't be able to comment.
It's okay in PVE. Node Wars got a buff with split damage being removed, and that's about all I know.
I put one in the general Discord.
Oh, you can read it out. That's good.
Cool. Alicia, Juju or Sushu, I don't know how to pronounce that. Do you think this home event they are doing will impact in some decisions for the future of BDO? Because I think they don't listen to anyone; they just do what is in their mind. What do you guys think about the Heidel Ball with these questions coming up?
I think it, more than anything, will create an illusion of them paying attention. I think that's all it is. I think it's just hot
I
air.
like the Heidel Ball. I think it's cute when they do the little dinners and they make people. They had like the black dessert contest.
Yes, like it. I think that unique opportunities to bring a community together to understand the scope of this game is really important for people to understand that there are people playing in different regions. How many countries is this game played in? And how many people could you potentially connect to that are fans of this game? How big is the reach of this influence? Like, I think that's a very important thing to understand, but really also understanding that what the individual and what the community wants and whether or not they care about that. I think this is something for them to do for some good publicity, to create a cool event, to also make it feel like that. But, we will see the direct impact. I think one of the crazy things that I've said over time is what they tell us and what they do is very different. And you've seen that from the last title ball, the last Calpheum ball, the last roadmap, and everything they have literally said to us up front. There's been a big difference between what they've predicted or what they've told us to anticipate and the exact reality of when it got put into the game. So you just gotta take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I feel like the basic idea that they're going to have is that the Heidel Bell will be like really accurate for the first month, and after that it gets less and less accurate. That's at least for that one in particular. What do you guys think about new MMOs that are coming out? New World. I guess Last Oasis is technically an MMO, although debatable. What do you guys think about some of the newer MMOs that are coming out in the future?
Has anyone played New World lately? I don't know what that game is anymore. Like, it stopped being a PvP game, and now I don't know.
Well, it's not officially out.
In PvP.
Yeah,
but I mean, they have a beta, and they've been giving people invites. I just don't know anyone who's really played it like in the last 5 or 6
They've
months.
been people that are doing it now they're being very strict on their NDAs, I think, so they're not talking about it. The only thing I know is
Star Wars.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the New World anyway, the in game is going to be PVE, but they haven't really told us what that's going to look like, and so it seems completely different than the original game vision. So I'm waiting for like another trailer or another game announcement or like something like that. I need more information to decide how good that is. Blue Protocol and Genji Online MMO or something like that.
Project Barbecue as well.
Project Barbecue seems like it's ways out, but yeah, I think that one's good.
Still anticipation in the forward, looking forward to. I think that the best thing that we can look forward to from New World is the fact that it could potentially put pressure in terms of competition on the big guys that are making MMOs right now. So if they can attract any portion of the player base for a certain period of time from World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, BDO, other games that we're currently playing, in reaction, those games could potentially create a more valuable product or potentially create something that we would want to play more, which shakes up the business. It shakes up MMO games as a whole. I want there to be more competition. I want a competitor with a lot of money behind them to get into the ring. This is really interesting to see, but I don't know if another survival MMO type is something that I personally will enjoy.
Last Oasis is a good little like breath of fresh air, but there hasn't been a good outside of the last great MMO ever made was Star Wars Galaxies. And there was these kind of little blips of maybe SWTOR was okay. BDO is definitely the best version of a MMO that we have. The Maple Story's died twice,
Okay.
So Final Fantasy 14 is doing pretty damn well. And that
all right. So I'll give you Final
Galaxy.
Fantasy 14, but there's no innovation in Final Fantasy 14. It's really just a reskin of World of Warcraft.
Sure.
And I'm sure that's a very hotly debated topic somewhere else. But Star Wars Galaxies was such a fucking insanely amazing game in almost every single possible way. And it's not even, I would do anything for that game to be remade in the original vision that it had.
That exists, Tim. There's an emulator that's a classic Star Wars Galaxy.
No, I know, but it doesn't. The UI.
He's talking about translating it to today.
You mean like a new game?
I don't. But like the housing system and how you could be a Jedi and all that shit. But WoW just keeps working, and now they're unapologetically recycling their content with classic and hyping that up or whatever, and it's a fucking grab. And so this entire industry is throat choked by World of Warcraft not making any innovation whatsoever.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they're doing. They don't.
Right,
they don't
which
care
isn't
about
a
anything
bad
but the bottom line.
Not a bad strategy for a business, but it sucks for the rest of us that have to live within these drab fucking games with no innovation or thought. So thank God for Korea with coming out. They love their iframes, which fuck that. But thank God that somebody had a vision of something better. But it's not popular enough to really stir the pot for the mainstream Blizzards and all that kind of stuff to really react to it.
What's annoying to me about that is that I think BDO actually could have competed with WoW if it had, if it was a more intuitive experience, especially when it comes to things like enhancing. And if it didn't have such an egregious cash shop, I think it absolutely would have competed with WoW. I don't think it would have killed WoW, but it would have been a mainstream contender.
The Western gaming community also they don't like the grind as much as they like the casual, let me lock in for my dungeons. It's something that's
I don't know. I think they like grind, man. Did you see how successful WoW Classic was?
That was a fucking grind. I died to Murlocs.
No, I don't. I think that's a hard parallel to pull, because you're talking about nostalgia. You're talking about a percentage of people that loved the original version of the game that are playing it again for the sake of nostalgia. Like they'll buy it again, but that community is just big.
I don't
There's
think the grind
millions
is
of people
away from BDO, man. There's so many things you can do in the game other than grind. I think it's the cash shop and the enhancing system have got to be the top two reasons that people don't play or quit this game.
All right, a couple more things on that topic. So what do you guys think about Crimson Desert? It's not enough information in my opinion, but just putting it out there because people are asking. What do you guys think?
We don't have Crimson Desert. We can hit another time.
Okay.
We're over our time limit here.
Yep. And then Elion is the Black Desert knockoff from Bluehole and Kakao Games in Korea. Any thoughts?
What's it called?
They renamed it from Air to Elion.
Oh, don't fucking talk to me about Air. Jesus Christ.
That's a terrible question to ask, honestly.
I'm just filling out other MMOs here. I've just filled out Blue Protocol. I think actually looks pretty good. I think the combat looks okay. Not necessarily stellar, but like I think it's almost as good as BDO, and that's saying a lot. Not as good, but close. I don't know if you guys have looked at anything about that, but it seems I want to know more about it. Right, I want to see how it goes in the future.
Yeah, I think you should link something in our Discord here so I can take a look at it. Maybe next podcast next week we can talk more intelligently about it.
All right. Any closing thoughts? What do you guys want to say before we head out?
We made it past 5 minutes.
Hey,
yeah, we did it, dude. Hey,
we did it.
First podcast, man. That was a blast.
All right, Tim Allen, you did such a good job introducing us. How should we close it out? I haven't watched podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. My name's Tim Allen 1337. That's Potion Shop, Moreland TV, Joe Never Fails. What do you guys have going on? Where can they find you?
All right, Potion Shop. Find me at Potion Shop TV on Twitch or YouTube or Twitter.
I'm Joe Never Fails. You can find me anywhere. Twitter.com/Joe Never Fails. Twitch.tv/Joe Never Fails. I play MMOs, specifically focusing on the world of Black Desert Online, Tuesday through Sunday, from 7 a.m. EST till around 3 p.m. You can come check me out anytime. Looking forward to seeing you.
All my shit is called Moreland TV. It's got the Discord server, Moreland TV vanity link. Hell yeah.
Ooh, fancy.
Hell yeah.
So I think more importantly, we're going to continue. I think this time works for everybody. We're going to continue doing this at 12 p.m. Pacific time. We are going to keep it the 4 of us. It's not going to be an open door thing where people just come in and leave. We want to keep it structured, and we want to build, the personalities intertwining and stuff like that. That's what a podcast is really about. So it's going to be the 4 of us. Not to say we won't have guests every once in a while, but for the first month or so, we're going to work on layouts and cameras and all that kind of stuff and make it better. But I really enjoyed this time. I think having a nice 2-hour conversation about BDO and some other games is good shit. And thank you guys for your time.
Hell yeah.
Hey, appreciate it.